Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Destiny's Princess, a war story, a love story, along Nobunaga's route. We're on chapter 7 now, Stand Ablaze, and we finally consummated our relationship in the last episode. Well, we kind of consummated it before we even actually made the relationship, but that's fine. I don't mind rolling them all into one event, as long as we're on a happy path here. It turns out that all the guys were in love with me the whole time. But Nobunaga is the only one that actually made the move. Well, in this route anyway. Oh, and sadly, why did he have to tell me that? Why did he have to tell me that my own father was actually having impure thoughts about me? Why, Nobunaga? That just made me more depressed. You could have kept that to yourself. You really could have. And not to mention my brother. You didn't have to tell me that my real brother felt that way either. I forgive you since you're so pretty. Well, anyway, let's get back to current events. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Again, Chapter 7, Stand Ablaze. I was brought to Nobunaga's room and spent the night there. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the sight of faint lights. Nobunaga was next to the light, bent over a piece of paper spread across the floor. Father? I instinctively called him that and realized I should call him Nobunaga. How ironic. At first I didn't want to call him father, but now it just comes out like that. I was even disgusted at the idea of falling in love with my own father.
Oh, princess, you're awake.
What are you doing? I put on a kimono over my shoulder and came closer to him.
I was thinking about the future.
Nobunaga was looking at the map of the neighboring region.
First is the Kyogoku household, huh? I'm sure they'll come and attack us. Even in the middle of summer, at this distance, it's easy to attack.
Nobunaga pointed to the neighboring nation. Why do you think so?
It's simple. If it were me, I would do the same thing. They'll probably attack us once the demons are all gone.
That's so soon. My head was filled with thoughts of demons, but that was what was lying ahead of us.
At the earliest, the neighboring countries will get word that the demons are gone in 10 days. In that time, we'll send soldiers to this ridge. They have to pass through here to attack us. Maybe we should construct a fortress in secret. I don't mind if it's makeshift.
Are you sure other countries won't attack while the soldiers are tearing it apart? Nobunaga looked a bit happy after hearing my question.
That's a good question. Look at this map.
Nobunaga's finger glided upward.
The other day, they got caught up in our battle, and the Lord died. They're in a civil war, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, we just need to investigate if they're allying with other countries.
You can't just pin them down first?
We'll attack Kyogoku from behind.
Then, why did they attack from the south while you're attacking Kyogoku? Nobunaga slid his finger up the map.
The south is protected by a mountain ridge. If they had a backbone, they would try and cross them, but the lord of this castle isn't special.
It sounds like you've gone and seen him.
Oh, that? I did.
Huh?
Fuma heard that the daimyo was passing through a village near the border. I disguised myself. And took a look. He was scared of demons coming out just from crossing the border.
Nobunaga was content from the bottom of his heart. I'm so surprised. When did you sneak out of the castle?
I wonder.
Nobunaga chuckled.
He looked like a creepy man, but it was easy to tell he was ordinary. First we'll join forces with them. That way we'll just have to worry about Kyogoku.
You really thought about the future. Why don't you think about that stuff after the demons are gone? 'Cause then it'll be too late. Nobunaga put his knee up and looked at me seriously.
The demons will be gone in a matter of days. I'm not being hasty at all.
I never thought about other countries until now. I looked at Nobunaga's hand on the map. For a while, all I could think about was protecting the country from demons. That was right. Even if my true wish was not to be alone, my concerns for the people in this country were in no way a lie.
We probably won't get any breaks before other nations attack. Prepare yourself.
But the vassals and the people will be exhausted from the continuing battles. Some people might hold a grudge against you, Father.
Even if you say that, I don't feel like sitting around watching the nation fall to ruin.
I was anxious, and Nobunaga quickly smiled kindly toward me. It was the first time I saw him smile like this. He put his big hand on my cheek.
Don't worry. But Princess, for the people to live in peace and harmony for all time, someone needs to unite all the nations. The time of the warring states must come to an end.
So that's what you were thinking about. He was ridiculed as a big fool, but below his frightful disposition was a sensitive soul.
You are now my woman. I embraced you because I thought we could see the same future together.
Nobunaga put his hand around my hips and hugged me. The kimono on my shoulders fell. He kissed my ears.
We can never have enough children. I'll give each of my children a country to rule. Then I'll expand the country. I've already thought of a name for our first child.
Nobunaga Jr.?
If it's a boy, Kiyomaru, and if it's a girl, Gotoku.
That's not a very feminine-sounding girl name. You thought of such strange names. I put my hand around Nobunaga's neck. I would be honored to birth them. But if you welcome in a concubine, I won't let you get away with it. As I lightly bound his neck, we kissed. Nobunaga smiled happily.
After one night, I changed this girl into a woman.
That's what you did, Father. Stop calling him Father! I laughed like a purring cat.
Once I give you the land of the rising sun, next are the foreign countries. Prepare yourself.
Nobunaga lifted me up and put me back down on the futon. By tomorrow, our relationship would probably spread throughout the castle as a rumor. I didn't return after he brought me to his room, after all. No, even now the pages might have been listening in on the other side of the door. Oh, that's creepy. But I didn't care. I was changed. I decided I would follow him no matter where he went. In the morning, I opened my eyes and saw that Nobunaga was already dressed himself. Not to mention in battle attire. As Nobunaga put on his gloves, he turned to me in an exceedingly good mood.
Oh, you're awake?
Well, yeah. Before I knew it, the pages were coming into the room. While they helped Nobunaga change, they didn't seem to know where to look. Their eyes wandered. Oh, because I'm here. He doesn't even care! Again! I swore, even if I complained, he would tell me not to worry about it. Are you going out to battle?
Yeah, prepare yourself and let's go. We're going to attack the demon's inner base.
The time had finally come. I did say I wanted to go. All of the military commanders had gathered in front of the castle gate. Nobunaga looked down at them from atop his horse. The vassals looked at me as I was beside Nobunaga clad in armor holding my bow. It was strange. The old me would have panicked at their stares and gotten flustered. Maybe it was because I felt disgraced when they scowled at me. However, it didn't bother me in the least now. It was true I changed. I was reborn at the hands of Nobunaga. Huh? I felt someone's presence nearby and lifted my head. Yukimura was next to me with a complex expression on. He looked forward and whispered to me. Oh.
Hande has passed away.
That can't be. When did it happen?
Just a moment ago. Since that day, he never opened his eyes again and passed on to the other world.
I can't believe it. He came to this world as my fiancé, but I never took care of him. It was Nobunaga Feelings of guilt and disgust boiled up from the back of my mind. But I never thought to cry. This was the path I chose. I wasn't allowed to cry. Yukimura didn't look at me and spoke to me in a muffled voice.
I won't ask you about what you did last night, but I would have preferred to tell you how I felt if I had to concede to Father. I feel that way even now. Don't forget that.
Thank you, Yukimura. If I had chosen Yukimura, I wondered if I could have been happy like an ordinary girl. Well, it's still your brother, it's not exactly that much better. However, I was already treading on a thorny path. Even if everyone said we fell into incest, Nobunaga and I were the only ones who knew. That wasn't true. I don't mind that. Don't lie to yourself. Nobunaga looked around at the vassals and roared.
From here on out, we are going to attack the demon's inner base. We're aiming for the Rokaku Kanonji Castle.
This made the vassals stir. I was shocked as well. The Rokaku clan was my family's sworn enemy, but they perished close to 100 years ago.
But that was where Rokaku Takayori was defeated. It was untouched for a long time. That's right. No one lives there anymore. You are all correct. No humans live there. But, in its depths, one corpse should still be there. According to this country's history, Rokaku Takayori's mummified remains are there, right?
Mummified? Last night, when I was paralyzed, I saw a Buddhist priest with gouged out eyes. Maybe that was... Nobunaga probably didn't think much of it, but the senior vassals were still suspicious.
It's true that's what was written down, but what about it? Demons are beings from the underworld. Takayori swallowed his grudge against this nation and became mummified. But he called the demons to this land. That is the root of this disturbance, according to Hanbei's investigation. Excuse my rudeness, but do you have any proof? This sounds so absurd.
A portion of the vassals snickered. It started to spread. They looked at each other and started to laugh. Nobunaga was disdained as a giant fool. Others were afraid and looked at them. Looking to the vassals, I silently looked at them. I just watched them laugh. Their fates had been determined. They made fun of Nobunaga a little too much. I knew no matter what I said, it was too late. I didn't want to disturb Nobunaga. Is he going to have them executed? Nobunaga rode his horse forward and stopped in front of the vassals. And...
You fools!
In that moment, it flashed before my eyes. The vassal's head went flying. After a moment, blood spouted out like a fountain. Yeah, they're not going to call him a fool anymore. Or at least not in front of him. The vassals in the area moved away. The closest vassal's voice sounded like the wind blowing as he sank to the floor. The dark color on his crotch was spreading. The vassal's body stood there for a while, as if he didn't know he was dead. Soon after, his body crumbled and fell over. The corpse on the floor stained the ground black as it convulsed over and over again. I didn't think anything of it. I just decided that. I swallowed my breath and didn't say a word. My hands shook as they held the reins. Their lives were over once they angered Nobunaga. I only came to grips with that.
While the demons are in our sights, I will not joke or speak preposterous things. Not seeing the big picture, they use the ignorance to ridicule others as an excuse to be lazy. I am usually very tolerant, but when it comes to important things, I won't forgive such stupidity.
Nobunaga put his blood-stained blade down and glared at the surrounding men. The mood had entirely changed. The tension that stung our skin controlled the atmosphere. It wasn't there a moment ago.
Now, think it over one more time. Our enemies are demons. They aren't from our world. We are about to fight an unusual battle.
While holding his sword, Nobunaga strode off on his horse in front of everyone.
I am sure some want to leave this land, while others want to stay confined in the castle. But if you run, where will you go? Do you think the demons will let you get away? Those who run away will be cowards if you're going to be chased and die on the road. Then entrust your life to me. Use your life for your kids, grandkids, and for your afterlife.
Before I knew it, everyone was entranced by the motion Nobunaga made. It was like everyone had forgotten their former brethren were slaughtered a few moments ago. As Nobunaga looked at everyone, all of a sudden their eyes were filled with uplifting morale.
Yeah!
Yeah! Someone let out a war cry. Yeah! When I thought the people cheering increased, the entire area shook with sound. Nobunaga smiled, satisfied, and came to me. He touched my cheek with his blood-stained hand.
Were you frightened?
No, not a bit. He's like, that's my girl. Nobunaga smiled gently and wiped my cheek, dirtied by the blood, with his fist.
Yukimura. Yes?
Yukimura stepped forward, with a severe look on his face.
I leave the castle to you. Kotaro is luring demons here. It's our plan to reduce the demons at Rokaku Kononji Castle. Hold down the fort no matter what. Make good use of Hanbei's final plan. Yes, sir!
Nobunaga once again faced the troops. He brandished his sword and shouted,
We will depart after a minute. Be prepared. Yes, sir!
The vassals' voices were strong. Their eyes were filled with power. Yukimura mumbled as he looked at Nobunaga's back.
I have a lot of different feelings about father, but... Nevertheless, I have to admit he is a heroic man.
You would think I would have to say I feel the same way, but I have to say I wonder. I know he's heroic, come on. I wonder.
Saya?
I had a mysterious look on my face and smiled at Yukimura. Hanbei said it too, right? That he might lure me into ruin. Extraordinary things aren't always connected to happiness. However, there was one thing I knew. The men I summoned were truly superior and capable people. Indeed they are. So we probably got 3 or 4 more episodes with Nobunaga, because Chapter 8, and then 2 endings, and then his extras. But you never know if the endings are going to both be in one video, or if they're going to have to be separate. Well, good. Nobunaga seems to have the respect of his people back. They no longer think he's just a fool. Thank goodness. And there may be rumors of incest, but I don't think that's going to affect our battle plans, at least. And, you know, the incest won't be a problem once the demons are defeated anyway, so that's only a temporary thing. Thank goodness. Then he's going to have to re-earn the respect of all the people once again after they all forget about him, which is going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to have to be like, look, I'm marrying this guy you guys have never met before, and he's going to be the new lord, so you guys got to follow him. But he's got a powerful personality, so I'm sure he can swing it some way. Anyway, I hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.